So we'd just like to welcome everybody here today. Thank you for joining us to this online live Q&A. So without further ado, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. Could you tell us a little about yourself and about TIE, Taiwan Impact Entrepreneurs? Over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mary, and all those good-hearted army of volunteers and people working at SATAI. Thank you for creating these opportunities for us to share what we have here. So yes, this is a very exciting time. Taiwan just rolled out a new visa, and I'm very happy to be part of the whole visa process. And so yes, I want to share this with you folks today because it can change the lives of a lot of people. So okay, yes, thank you for the introduction, Mary. My name's Andrew Klerk. I'm from South Africa, been in and out of Taiwan for about 18 years. I'm still very deeply and proudly rooted in South Africa. I still have a company running there as well. And so I'm the founder of Taiwan Impact Entrepreneurs here in Taiwan. And the main goal of our organization, which is also now a company, is to help people build better businesses. And so we do that by hosting a lot of social events, networking events, online in-person events, and we also offer a wide range of business services to help people build better businesses. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about on the Entrepreneur Visa. There's a lot of information, so I'm going to dive straight into it. So just a quick disclaimer to start off with, because so the government put out a lot of information in Chinese. Most of the information is Chinese, so we had to translate it over to English. So we had to use our own interpretations of what they tried to say. So just a disclaimer, always go and read things up yourself as well. We do try to provide the most accurate and up-to-date information. But yes, as you know, we do our best, but just be aware there might be discrepancies, small discrepancies here and there. I will add, however, that in the past week, our first batch of visa applicants received their visas. So I believe we have figured out the first stages, the first phases of a visa, that our information and our processes are correct on that. All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so really happy about that. Okay, so let's go in for it. Okay, I'm quickly going to give you the table of contents. That's on the next slide, Dwayne. Just to give you what we're going to be talking about. So it's going to be, what is the Entrepreneur Visa? Who can apply for Entrepreneur Visa? How to apply for it? What businesses is the government trying to attract through the Entrepreneur Visa program? What is an incubator program? The costs involved in applying for the Entrepreneur Visa? How to extend your visa after 2 years of the initial 2-year visa? Limitations of the Entrepreneur Visa? And I've got a step-by-step guide that I've created there for you, for folks who want to join in. And then we'll definitely dive into questions. You folks can ask some questions later on. Okay, so next slide. So what is the Taiwan Entrepreneur Visa? Now, also, I just quickly want to make it clear that the Taiwan Entrepreneur Visa has been running for a number of years. But in July 2023, 2 months ago, the government totally changed it. It used to be a 1-year visa. Now it's a 2-year visa, and there are some additional rules and regulations to it. So please, if you go and read any information on the internet, make sure it is not old information that's relevant to the old visa. It has changed. So please, make sure whatever information you read, it's July 2023 and newer. I think most of the new information out there is what we've published, because as far as I know, no one else has actually published any English information on it. Okay, so the Taiwan Entrepreneur Visa is an initiative by the Taiwanese government to attract entrepreneurs who want to come and try their businesses here in Taiwan to see if their businesses can work. So it's a very nice way for folks to come here and, you know, give it a shot. So it's a very easy visa to get. the initial 2-year visa. It's very, very easy and simple and straightforward to get. So it's nice for folks who have an idea. Maybe they want to get into, they want to develop an app, or they want to get into, production or exporting products back to their home countries or wherever. And so they can come and settle here, and they can conduct business on this visa. So very straightforward and easy visa to get. Okay, so it's a 2-year visa, multiple entry, and it's extendable after the 2 years if your business meets certain requirements. We will discuss that later. Okay, it's also an ARC visa. ARC stands for Alien Resident Certificate Visa, meaning that this visa can contribute, the entrepreneur visa, the years that you spend on the entrepreneur visa can contribute towards the 5 years that you need to build up in order to get a permanent resident certificate later on. So this is a massive advantage for the entrepreneur visa. You can get, you can have up to 3 people on one visa. So if you're a startup and you have 3 startup founders, 3 of you can apply for one visa. You don't have to have your own individual visas. You can also bring your immediate family members, usually like a spouse or children. I'm a bit hesitant to say that they will allow you to bring your parents because we have not had that scenario yet. We've had people bringing applying for their spouses and children to join them, and their visas were approved. So if you do want to bring a parent, please maybe check in with the government themselves. I can't give an answer on that one. Okay, so next slide. Who can apply for the entrepreneur visa? So first of all, anyone who can enter Taiwan legally. In order to get an entrepreneur visa, you need 3 things. You need a high school diploma, a viable business plan that's in line with the types of businesses that the government is trying to attract, and you need to sign up to an incubator program. I will discuss all of those points in detail later on. Okay, then just a quick side note. For people from Hong Kong and Macau, there's a different application process for them. Also for people from mainland China, they also have to go through a different channel. I do not have the exact knowledge for the mainland China, but we have helped people from Macau and Hong Kong to get visas. Okay, just also another note very quickly. For the entrepreneur visa, which is very interesting, you do not need to show any proof of funds or investment. This makes the entry barrier really easy and low for folks to come in. So it's nice for students who just finished university somewhere. They do not have a huge amount of funds or investment at all, but they can come to Taiwan and bootstrap their business. So that's quite a nice one. I like that they have that. Okay, next slide. How to apply for the entrepreneur visa. As I said, the initial 2-year visa is very easy to get. So first of all, you need to get accepted into an incubator program. Now this is mandatory. It's mandatory to join an incubator program to obtain an entrepreneur visa. I will explain what an incubator program is in a minute. So how to apply? You first get accepted into an incubator program, and then you just go and you do an online application for the visa. The government, I will give kudos to the Taiwanese government. They linked up the entrepreneur visa application to the gold card application online. And it is so smooth, it is so easy. It takes about half an hour to fill in the online application. And the fastest, one of our applicants received his visa within 7 working days. The others are I would say about 2 weeks. So kudos to the Taiwanese government. They made it so easy. It's very well written in English, and it's very straightforward. So simple way. Okay. Okay, next slide. What businesses is the government trying to attract through this visa program? Okay, so it's not the government is not going to hand out visas just to anyone who wants to start any type of business. They mainly want to focus on businesses such as businesses that will be doing exporting out of Taiwan, technology businesses, any businesses that will provide employment or education opportunities, any business that's going to contribute in a meaningful way towards the economy of a country. So what they did tell us, they will not give visas to food and beverage businesses such as restaurants, coffee shops, etc., bakeries, because there are just enough of them pretty much. English teaching cram schools, they're not going to do either. But don't fear, there are workarounds. I'll talk about the workarounds in a bit. Actually, let me just do it now. So here's a catch. Oh, sorry, it's not a catch, but when you apply for the entrepreneur visa, you have to hand in a business plan, a viable business plan to the government. So they're going to go through the business plan. The person who's going to go through it, you know, he doesn't really know much about business. They're going to flip through it. They will go on the recommendation of the incubator program that the person signed up, such as the incubator program that we offer, because we write a recommendation letter to the government. And so the business plan that you hand into the government, it does not necessarily have to reflect the actual business that you are going to do once you've received your visa. So, because nobody is going to come and check afterwards that, are you currently doing the business that you initially said in your application that you're going to do? Because the nature of entrepreneurship is you come up with an idea, you go and do the business. If it doesn't work, do something else or tweak it and try something else. So nobody's going to come back and say, hey, but you said you're going to be an exporter and now you're running a restaurant. As long as you stay, as long as you do an ethical business and stay within the legal rights and don't cause any trouble, nobody's going to ask questions or check up on you. So if you do have an idea of, running a cram school or a restaurant, we just have to figure out how to write a how to make a business plan that falls within what the government wants. Such as, for instance, if you do really want to run a cram school, we just say you're going to be developing technology in the education field, something like that, or you're going to be exporting educational products. Simple as that. Once you get your visa, you're free to go and do whatever business you want. Okay, I think, yeah, that covers what businesses is the government looking for. Okay, then next slide. What is an incubator program? So as I said, it's mandatory to join an incubator program for a 2-year period.
Andrew, sorry, can I just quickly ask a question?
Yes, go for it.
You mentioned earlier about the 3 people who can get the visa together, and then about the family. Family, is that included in the 3 people or not?
No, those are 2 separate categories.
Okay.
The family members will not be part of your business.
Okay.
That's like the children or a spouse. They come along. So you are going to be on the primary person on the visa, and they're basically just yes, they're just dependents. And then the 3 people refer to if you are 3 co-founders, for instance. Okay. So to clarify it a bit better, perhaps, let's say you are 3 co-founders, each one of them can bring their dependents. So in theory, you could say bring up to 12 or 16 people on one visa.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect question. Thanks. Okay, so the incubator program. So what's an incubator program? So a big flaw in the previous 1-year visa program was that a lot of people came onto the entrepreneur visa and then they just didn't do anything. They just wanted to stay in Taiwan for another year. And so the government realized people were abusing the system. So now they made it mandatory for folks to join an incubator program, which means You sign up for 2 years, and it's the duty of an incubator program to ensure that the person is actually doing a business, and also to provide a network of a support network and help them with information and whatever services they might need. So there are, I think, there's about 9 or 10 incubator programs out there. Most of them are attached to universities, so it's universities who provide it to their students, so you have to be a student at university. Also, I know there's one investment fund, for instance, so folks that they invest in, they can sponsor visas. As far as I know, I'm speaking under correction, I think the collaboration TIE has with FutureWard, we're sort of the only one where folks coming from the street can actually sign up to the incubator program. So, okay, so we take the TIE. Okay, so let me first explain. Okay, TIE and FutureWard. So who's FutureWard? FutureWard is a co-working space. It's one of the, they've been around for quite some time here, and the owner of FutureWard, Jonathan Liao, is also the director of a gold card office, which is the gold card visa. So he's very well connected to the government. He opened up a lot of doors on the entrepreneur visa side, so I'm very grateful that they collaborated with us. They are authorized by the government to provide an incubator program. But then he came to me and he said, they don't really have the people to run the incubator program and to help entrepreneurs coming in. Can we do it for them? Because we do have our TIE community. So I said, I'll be delighted to do that, because that's what TIE is all about, is helping people build successful businesses. Okay, and then TIE, as I explained earlier, I won't have to drag on about that. We're here to help people build successful businesses. We offer a lot of business services for that. So for the incubator program that we offer, TIE has a private members-only community, which we call the TIE Mastermind Business Club. So this is a group for highly success-driven people who are dedicated to really succeed at a very high level. It's a community where people come in and they contribute towards one another and help and support one another. And so what we do is, when somebody signs up to the entrepreneur visa through our incubator program, then we pull them into our mastermind community. So far, really good. I love the people we've brought in. They bring a lot of value to the community that we have. Okay, costs. Next slide. Okay, so what costs are involved in the entrepreneur visa? So there's a 5,000 Taiwan dollar fee for the online application. That's payable to the government. Then for the incubator program, the government has set a standard price. So it doesn't matter which incubator program you sign up, you will be paying the same. That's 30,000 Taiwan dollars per year per person. So just remember, that's per year per person. So if you are 3 people signing up to one entrepreneur visa, each person has to sign up to an incubator program. It's not for the visa, it's per person. So each person will have to pay that fee. It's also for 2 years that you have to sign up. Now, most incubator programs do charge the entire 60,000 Taiwan dollars up front. We said we're not going to do that. We'll charge the 30,000 Taiwan dollars at the start of each 12 months. It's just some folks might unfortunately drop out or realize, their businesses are not working, or something comes up and they need to go. For us, it's about let's just be ethical about this, and we're not here to rip anyone off. Okay, then just a quick note as well. It is not mandatory to register a company when you are on the entrepreneur visa. But it is highly recommended if you really want to remain in Taiwan for a long period of time after the initial 2 years. So in order to register a company here, it costs around, I would say on average, 35,000 Taiwan dollars. We also do company registrations at TIE if anybody needs one done. The average cost is around 35,000 Taiwan dollars. So let's just quickly, so let's say, for instance, you sign up to the Entrepreneur Visa. The immediate costs that you're going to have is you're going to have at 5,000 Taiwan dollars application fee to the government, the 30,000 Taiwan dollars to the incubator program. That is the immediate costs that you will have. But I would highly recommend, as soon as you receive your visa, is to register a company if you're serious on remaining in Taiwan for, if you really want to build a successful business. Register your company as soon as possible. I'll explain later in the next slide why you should do that.
Andrew, sorry, another question.
Yep.
Doesn't that, if it's not mandatory to register your company, doesn't that allow you to basically illegally try to set up a business? Because,
well,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So no, very interesting question. Okay. So if you do not have a registered company, you cannot earn money, and you cannot accumulate your expenses. And also the other thing is you cannot employ people. So it really limits you, but it's not mandatory to register it. So you can get the 2-year entrepreneur visa, come to Taiwan and come and do research, come and, set up your website and just, try and see if things work. A lot of folks do have companies, registered businesses outside of Taiwan, like back in their home countries. So the entrepreneur, in this case, folks can come to Taiwan on the entrepreneur visa, live here for 2 years, and they can still, they can still earn money from their companies abroad. But the income that they earn from those businesses will not count towards the 3 million Taiwan dollars that's needed to renew to extend the visa after 2 years.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Nice question. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, next slide. So how to extend the visa after 2 years. So close to the end of 2 years, I would say about at least 2 months before your visa is about to expire, you need to apply for an extension if you qualify and if you want to remain in Taiwan on that visa. So there are 3 criteria, and you need to meet one of them, not all 3 of them. Of course, if you can hit all 3 of them, good job. But you only need to meet one of them. Okay, so the very first criteria is in the last 12 months of operations in your business, you need to show that you've earned 3 million Taiwan dollars in revenue, in gross revenue. The second one is you employ 3 Taiwanese locals full-time. And then the third criteria that you can meet is you need to showcase that in the last 12 months of trading, you've spent or invested 1 million Taiwan dollars in your business, that your operation expenses were around more than 1 million Taiwan dollars. So it sounds pretty hectic, but there are workarounds. I probably shouldn't say it on it, but there are workarounds if you do not meet the requirements. But first of all, obviously, your goal should be to actually go and hit those requirements. 3 million Taiwan dollars, it sounds a lot, but for instance, if you have an export company, if you're doing exporting, you're going to be hitting 3 million very, very fast. So it's not really that difficult to hit it. The last one is actually the easiest one to meet. That's 1 million Taiwan dollars in business expenses. So that goes for like any salaries, rent, any purchases, any equipment that you bought, that goes into that. So if you go onto an entrepreneur visa, try to keep your expenses in that last 12-month bracket of your business. Obviously, it's not always possible. You might have to rent somewhere, but try to, if you're going to buy some expensive camera equipment or something, And if you can hold it off until that time period, then do so. Then it's very, very easy to hit that the 1 million expenses. Most of the folks who renewed their visas on the previous EV program, the 1-year EV program, used this third requirement to renew their visas. Okay, so those are the 3. You only need to hit one of them. Just a quick note, for instance, like let's say, for instance, you really do not hit any of them after 2 years. You go to the middle, the second one, the employ 3 Taiwanese locals full-time. So the government, there's a little bit of a loophole here. The government did not specify how long the employees must work for you. So what you do is, come summertime, student break, you go and employ 3 students at full-time at student wages, let's say about, 200 NT an hour, employ them, register them for health insurance and labor insurance. And after 2 months, when you start getting your the bills from the labor and health insurance, that's a proof that you have that they work full-time for you, and bam, you meet the requirement. And you know, most businesses can do with having a few students there doing some work for them. So yeah, ethical and legal, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Okay, so yeah, for many of you folks who've been in Taiwan for a long time, sometimes, you know, there's just something that things are so good, but then somehow they throw something out which is, you cannot explain it. And yeah, unfortunately, in entrepreneur visa, it's also there's a little point where it's so difficult to explain to folks. But okay, let me go for it. So limitation of entrepreneur visa. The government, for some reason, we are arguing it with them. In Taiwan, visas are categorized in according to 2 categories: professional and non-professional. Professional visas have work permits connected to them. Non-professional visas, no work permits. So they, for some reason, categorized the entrepreneur visa as a non-professional visa, which means there is no work permit attached to it. Okay, so yeah, okay, here we go, let's go. So if you have an entrepreneur visa, you can come to Taiwan, you can live in Taiwan, you can register a business, you can start a business, you can invest money, you can generate money from the business, you can employ people, you can pay people salaries. But you yourself are not allowed to take a salary or receive a salary from your business. So you cannot officially have a payslip that says you're getting paid a salary because you do not have a work permit. Yeah, I know people are shaking their heads, I'm sure. But okay, it is what it is. But first of all, once again, there are workarounds for this, because all you do is you just live off of you register everything as company expenses, like your accommodation, you put it up as company expenses. Anytime you buy something, you swipe for you use a business card to swipe for your coffee at 7-Eleven or everything. You just put all the expenses on there. So it's not like you're going to be without money. But now this brings up the point that the entrepreneur visa should not be seen as a long-term visa. Because for as long as you're on that entrepreneur visa, you will never be able to claim a salary. So also, if you go over to an APRC based on the entrepreneur visa, even on an APRC, you will not have a work permit, which is, it's just not smart to do that. So the entrepreneur visa should not be seen as a long-term visa. It should be seen as a visa where you come in on it for 2 years, 3 years, maybe say maximum 4 years. Then you need to change over to another visa, such as a business visa. Fortunately, if you have a business that's running and it's generating money and it's becoming successful, it's actually quite easy to change over to a business visa. Now, a business visa is considered as categorized as a professional visa, meaning it does have a work permit on it. So there are 2 easy ways to bounce over to a business visa. Let's say after a couple of years and your business is running. So The first one is in the last, if you can showcase that in a 12-month period of your business, that your business generated more than 3 million Taiwan dollars, then you can employ a middle-level manager for your company, which then happens to be you. You can employ yourself into your company, and then you have a business visa. So, okay, then the second way to bounce over from an EV to a business visa is if you save up some money, and then you show to the government that you have 500,000 Taiwan dollars, 500,000 Taiwan dollars that you can invest in your own business, then you can get a business visa. Then you're not on entrepreneur visa anymore. So very straightforward. Just to reiterate on those 2 points, to bounce over from an entrepreneur visa to a business visa, showcase that your business has earned 3 million Taiwan dollar revenue in the last 12 months of business, or invest 500,000 Taiwan dollars into your own business, and then you can get a business visa. So there is a workaround for that. I'd like to call it a stupidity, but yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately, that they do not provide a work permit for the entrepreneur visa. Okay. Okay, and then the next slide. Okay, step-by-step slide quickly. So for anyone who wants to go...
Andrew,
yes.
Can I butt in quickly?
Yes.
Just because maybe people are at the spot. Dwayne, can you just go up quickly back to the slide before? Am I right in saying that there's probably 2 aspects here? One is you staying legally in the country. That is your ARC, which would become an APRC, the permanent one later. That one comes, obviously, I presume, from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It comes from somewhere with the Taiwan government. Then there's a second issue of working legally in the country. So I imagine that's based with the Ministry of Labor. And I think this is where they don't, the whole program cannot really stand on each other's toes, because I imagine that it's written in the Constitution, in the law, there's a certain way that our international friends can stay legally, and there's a certain way that our international friends can work legally. And I imagine that this way is how it keeps everybody happy.
Exactly. So with the entrepreneur visa, there are about 4 or 5 different government departments involved. And that's why it's so difficult to actually get answers out of them, because every time we question something, we have to contact all the different departments, and each department then says, oh, no, it's the other department, contact them. It's an endless circle, rabbit hole that you dive into. But yeah, I think you're right with that. It's basically they don't step on each other's toes.
Yeah.
But
okay, sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all, not at all. But it's a very important point to talk about and for people to know, because this information about the work permit that's not connected, that you don't get a work permit, you will not find it on any government site or government information about the EV. This came about with foreigners who were on the previous EV system program. And they got onto the EV, they started their businesses, and then they wanted to claim salaries, and their CPA said, no, but you can't. So this, unfortunately, some foreign friends learned this the absolute hard way. There's even one person that I had an interview with, which just posted, Edouard Roquette, one of the longest people who's been on the EV the longest. He got to APRC stage, and they declined him literally, when he went to apply for his APRC. Also based on some stuff, we're still busy figuring out what exactly went wrong there. So let's not dwell on that. But unfortunately, there are some things which are, we have to figure it out as we move along.
If I could just quickly also say, I'm sure that that's the reason why the incubator program is like this, because in that small environment, which can focus on these particular issues, that's when you can ask the people, what are your long-term goals? What do you plan to do? How are you doing 1 year later? How are you doing 3 years later? Because then you can get ahead of that, so that when that 5-year mark comes up, people don't go, oh, I didn't know. I was supposed to produce pay slips of $1 million before this date. I could have done that if only I'd known, or I did it, but I didn't use the right VAT number and things like that. Whereas, you know, in this way, there's a focused group, and, you know, obviously everyone's really, really appreciative to you guys and to FutureWard that you can hold this all in one place and get everyone sort of, they know that, you know, all our little ducks are in this pond, and Andrew and the guys will take care of us. So that's awesome.
Absolutely, thank you. I'll quickly, I'll spend 2 minutes on explaining something, because it's actually also important, but it's more once folks are actually on it, and then I will take, you know, an hour sitting down with each person to explain this point. There's a massive difference between company expenses and costs, business expenses and business costs in Taiwan. So that third point, to renew and to extend the entrepreneur visa, which is for 1 million Taiwan dollars in business expenses. So a big problem is there's business costs are usually about, I would say, a third to a quarter of business expenses. So it's a big problem if you issue your receipts incorrectly. The government might see a lot of your expenses as costs, which mean you might be thinking, hey, yeah, I've hit over the 1 million business expenses requirement. But once you apply for your visa, they come back and say, no, but it's only 300,000. That happened to a number of people. So if anyone's signing up to the EV, please come and check in with me. It's quite difficult to explain it. I've got lists of how are expenses and costs classified, and how to do it, you know, how to write it correctly. So just take note of that technicality there. All righty,
that's great. I think that's why we obviously wanted to have this call, so that people can know, listen, if you have that problem, this is the group you need to join. This is the guy you need to come talk to. So that's why we're really happy that you're here doing this all for us. Okay, over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. No, I'm so happy that I've learned all this information from speaking to other people who have, you know, sadly, a lot of them had moved back to their countries because they just got so fed up with, you know, trying to figure things out here when they were on the entrepreneur visa. And when their businesses didn't work, or they couldn't renew their visas, and then they left. So I'm very grateful to the people who actually shared all those information, because now we've been able to package it nicely, and, you know, we can share it with everyone. Okay, the quick step-by-step thing. So if anybody wants to go onto the entrepreneur visa, very quick, easy step-by-step guide that we've put up, because a lot of times when applying for visas, we just don't know what to do. You know, what's the next step? Where should we start? So let's go for it. The first one is schedule a consulting call with me. It's free. I'm more than happy to run folks over the information. Usually when people message me, we'll send them all the information brochure and a step-by-step thing and a frequently asked question document that we have. I want folks to read it before we get on the call. Otherwise, the call can go on for a very long period of time. So yeah, step one, schedule a call with me after you've read the documents. Step two, prepare the business plan. We do offer, I can help people with their business plans. Then submit the business plan to me, because I will then send it to FutureWard to be approved for the incubator program. Ultimately, because we work under FutureWard's license, they still have the last say in who they take into the incubator program. I'm just the contractor who provides the incubator program on their behalf. But if if folks send me their business plans, then I'll forward it to them. It just, you know, because I'm very closely connected to them, so it just streamlines the whole process. Okay, then after you submitted the business plan to me and I forward it to FutureWard, and if they accept the person into the incubator program, then you pay them the 30,000 Taiwan dollars for the first year program. Then FutureWard will then issue a letter of acceptance. And then you take that letter of acceptance and you go and do the online application. So for the online application, you will submit your letter of acceptance, your business plan and cover letter to the government with like the usual stuff like scans of your ARC or passport and stuff like that. It's very easy, as I said. So, okay, then once you receive your entrepreneur visa after you've done the online application, like I said, it's very fast at the moment. We're pushing people through within less than 2 weeks time, which I'm very happy about. So once you receive an entrepreneur visa, then you've got 15 days to get yourself down to the Bureau of Consular Affairs. Take your passport there with a couple of photos, and they're going to check if your passport is all right and everything is good, and then they will apply for your ARC from there. You've got 15 days, let's say 2 weeks after receiving your EV, and yeah, when you're ready to go, when you're ready to do whatever, do your business. And as I said, I would highly recommend folks to register a company as soon as they can if they are serious on actually doing business in Taiwan. All right, I think that's the bulk of the information that I wanted to share. So we can go straight into questions if anyone has questions.
Yeah. I think also before we forget, Dwayne, can you show the slide where Andrew's details are? Andrew, we just want to make sure we don't forget to do this, that if anybody obviously wants to get hold of Andrew and Taiwan Impact Entrepreneurs, we have QR codes here. So obviously this will appear nicely on a video and people can just scan them with their mobile phones and then they can be in contact with you and obviously know more about these programs too. So that's the important thing. We didn't want to miss that at all. I think we've received, if I can just interject, we'll see if Dwayne's got any on that side, but we've received one question about if someone wants to go down this pathway, they're really excited about it, they want to do it, they sort of have everything ready and they want to jump in, and get involved with you guys and join the incubator program and make it all happen. What sort of time frame are they looking at? Does this happen, from the initial call with you to where they can climb on a plane? Are we talking 1 month or 6 months, or how long would they take?
Okay, great question. Okay, the timeline. So
yeah.
As mentioned, thanks to the online system, the new online system, which is really good. Apologies. Applications are going through very fast at the moment, but it's also because the program just kicked off. So I would say that the average lead time at the moment is about 2 weeks to 3 weeks for the, since putting the online application in until it's approved. I will, however, warn that as this program becomes more and more popular, which it's already starting to get a lot of traction, I think by December this year, 2023, we're probably going to start looking at a two-month lead time. So please keep that in mind, but I will continuously send updates out and posts out about the lead time because it's very important. So to go back to the question, so let's say from the moment somebody sends me a message, I would say, so what needs to be done? A person messages me, then they have to get their business plan ready. Now, here's a little a cheat way of doing it. Just get ChatGPT to write you a business plan. If you spend anything longer than 3 hours on doing a business plan for your EV application, then you're wasting time. So go out there, just get literally, I've done business plans on ChatGPT, which is just amazing. In, I think, 20 minutes. You just have to feed it you just have to give it the correct instructions. You'll figure it out. I mean, I can help folks to do it as well. So once you've done your business plan and a cover letter, then it's submitted to me. I fast track things immediately. I mean, I just scan over the business plan, see if it falls within the guidelines of what the government is looking for, and what's the chances of this business getting approved by the government. If not, we just tweak it until we feel it's what the government wants. Then we send it to FutureWard. That takes a couple of days for them to go through it. So I would say that whole process of, since somebody contacted me for the first time, if they can get their business plan ready within a week, then say another week on the FutureWard between me and FutureWard, so that's like 2 weeks, and then another month for the online application. So you can be on a plane within 5 to 6 weeks if you're outside of a country. Okay, any questions?
Okay, that's good. Good. Dwayne has something.
Right, so we've got a question here regarding folks that are already here in Taiwan. So if I'm already in Taiwan, can I apply for the entrepreneur visa while I'm in Taiwan?
Perfect. Yes, perfect. Okay, perfect question. There are some issues here. So yes, you can apply for it because it's an online application that you can send in. But it depends what visa you currently are on in Taiwan. Is it a transferable visa or is it non-transferable? For instance, a visitor visa is non-transferable, whereas say a teaching visa is transferable. So what you need to go and look at is, what's the status of your visa? There is, however, I have seen it before where folks with non-transferable visas actually manage to get their visas transferred while in Taiwan without having to fly out and then come back on their entrepreneur visa. This is a thing at BOCA, Bureau of Consular Affairs. It really depends who you speak to on the day. So if you go there and they say to you, no, you have to fly out in order to activate your entrepreneur visa, just go back the next day at a different time and hopefully speak to somebody else. Just try it. It's worth trying it. So yes, you can apply while you're in Taiwan, but do take note, you might have to do a quick trip out just to activate your entrepreneur visa when you come in. So how this also works is when you do the online application, the government will send you a email saying it has been approved, and there's I think it's a QR code or a number on it. So if you're outside of Taiwan, you come into Taiwan, you arrive at the airport, you just show them the email, and they will type a code in or scan the QR code, and then your entrepreneur visa will be issued into your passport on the spot. So very easy and straightforward. And remember, as soon as your entrepreneur visa has been issued at the airport or at BOCA, you have 15 days that you need to go and get your ARC, that you need to register for your ARC.
Okay, that's great. Awesome. Okay, so I see that most of the questions that have come in have been answered by you. It was really informative, and we can see that you know everything. You are the EV god, so to speak. So thank you very much. And I can vouch for how good Andrew and his team are at Taiwan Impact Entrepreneurs. It's not just lip service. They really are passionate about building better businesses, and it comes through in absolutely everything they do. So thank you, Andrew, and thank you, FutureWard, for making this pathway possible. Thank you to Taiwan for allowing this and making it possible to our international friends. So I'm going to say goodbye to all our guests who are watching this. We're going to say goodbye, have a wonderful day, and stay safe. Bye from Taiwan for now.
Fantastic. Take care. Bye. Thanks, everyone.